At JDA, we see a number of macro trends emerging in retail transportation. One of which is in the dramatic increase that we're seeing in multi-channel retailing. Retailers are offering more and more fulfillment strategies for the direct consumer, whether it be the ability to buy directly online, to have in-store pickup, and of course to go shopping directly into the store. And recently what we've also seen are retailers are offering a lot of incentives for consumers to look at these alternative channels, such as free shipping or guaranteed date shipping. And all of this is increasing the complexity of their transportation networks. Another trend that we're seeing, or continuing to see, is in retailers trying to continually gain control of the inbound transportation processes, both domestically and internationally. And the key thing here is in the focus on getting that visibility to the transportation in terms of what's going to be shipped and when it's going to be shipped. Lastly, another trend that we're seeing is around sustainability. Certainly that is a hot topic across multiple industries, but no less so than in retail. And not only are retailers looking to establish best practices to increase their utilization and focus on sustainability, but they're looking at ways to create measurement and metrics in order to measure that value and translate that into environmental impact. Firstly, there are a number of impacts that cross-channel shopping has on the retail transportation network. Firstly is the influx of additional modes that a lot of retailers just aren't familiar with managing, such as parcel or air freight. Secondly, there's the margin impact. As we saw in the past holiday season, a lot of retailers in these alternative fulfillment methods are offering incentives for consumers to take those channels, which are impacting margins. So things like free shipping and guaranteed date shipping are forcing retailers not only to use higher service levels, but then increasing the costs and absorbing those costs. So in order to deal with those challenges, there's a number of strategies that retailers can employ, certainly from a solution perspective. First and foremost, make sure that your transportation solutions can handle now these additional modes that they're being faced with. So where a lot of TMS or transportation management solutions focus on truckload and less than truckload movements and certainly manage them very well, their ability to handle parcel and air freight complexities tend to be rather limited. So having a solution that can handle all of those capabilities in one system becomes very important. Related to that, and the second point, is an ability to holistically plan all of that demand in a single view. So the ability to have all of those modes, the parcel, the air freight, the truckload and less than truckload, all in one solution now allows you to plan those modes concurrently and look for those synergies where they exist. And if you have solutions that focus on each of those modes separately, you're not able to do that in any fashion. And then lastly is continuing to adopt that closed loop approach to transportation. So the more you can look ahead and do things like network design, network planning, have that feed into the transportation procurement process so you can lock in those rates in those lanes and those service levels and have all of that feed into your day-to-day execution, that just enables retailers to really be able to respond effectively to not only plan ahead and take advantage of the opportunities in terms of mitigating cost, but also to be able to react quickly when changes in demand occur in the near term, for near-term execution. When retailers take greater control of their inbound transportation processes, the main challenge that they're faced with is a lack of visibility. And this is regardless of whether it's domestic or international inbound freight. And when I talk about lack of visibility, what I mean is a lack of understanding of what the suppliers are going to ship, when, and in what quantity. So in order to deal with this or respond to this, what retailers need to have is to make sure that they have solutions in place that allow suppliers to collaborate at the purchase order level and identify to the retailer exactly what they're going to ship and when. tied to each individual PO, and have that be tightly coupled to the transportation solutions so that then, once we have that information, the transportation department can then take that and plan effectively, mitigating costs, lowering costs, and having effective service into the distribution centers. Another issue, or another area that retailers really need to address, particularly on the international inbound, from an international inbound perspective, is not only should the solutions be able to plan the end-to-end moves for international inbound freight, so including the point of origin movements, the ocean legs, and then domestic movements. Not only should the solutions plan each of those within one flow, but also they should be able to provide the ability and visibility to dynamically replan as there are changes in order allocation or demand allocation within the network. When thinking about sustainability in a transportation context, it's really all about asset utilization. Assets being anything from a truckload to an ocean container or to a mode in general. And so what retailers really need to do is, first of all, take a step back and holistically look at their transportation network and really understand whether they're using all their modal opportunities or modal alternatives in the best fashion in conjunction with one another. So for example, a lot of retailers have private or dedicated fleets. Are they really looking at using those holistically across their network, or have they pigeonholed them for a specific function or a particular area because that's the way it's always been done? So retailers really need to take that holistic point of view and understand, are they leveraging all of those different avenues or vehicles to maximize the value or the asset utilization within their network. Secondly, we're seeing a lot of additional technologies emerge in the industry that can affect this concept of asset utilization and consequently its effect on sustainability. So while most retailers or many retailers have already adopted a lot of routing technology to improve how moves happen within the network, we're seeing more emerging technologies around containerization, either as a standalone function or as an augmentation to those routing technologies, where in addition to looking at how many stops or how many moves need to be made, looking actually at the three-dimensional space utilization, for example, for a truckload move. Are we using all of the space that's available? Are we considering all the product characteristics in trying to maximize that three-dimensional space? And can it allow me to add an extra stop if I have that visibility to those constraints and to those characteristics? There's really three reasons why retailers should consider JDA for transportation. First is a powerful multimodal support to enable retailers to deal with the challenges of multi-channel distribution. So the ability to deal with parcel, air freight, truckload, ocean, intermodal, all within one cohesive solution. The second are specific capabilities around vendor or supplier collaboration to address the challenges associated with gaining control over the inbound transportation processes. Lastly, are powerful capabilities around asset utilization, both from a routing perspective and a containerization perspective, to allow retailers to gain advantage in their sustainability efforts.